I know you're scrolling through a sea of air compressors, trying to decide if any of them will actually survive the daily grind in your shop without turning into an expensive paperweight. It's frustrating because you don't want to spend hard-earned cash on a machine that sounds great on paper but can't keep up with a real-world workload. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this video I'm going to break down the Campbell Hausfeld 80-gallon unit, point out the moments when it shines, where it can trip you up, and help you decide whether it belongs in your garage or if you should keep looking. First off, let's talk about the kind of jobs this compressor is built for. The 80-gallon vertical tank and a 5 HP single-phase motor give you a solid air reservoir and enough horsepower to keep pistons, sanders, spray guns, and even small pneumatic brakes running continuously. That's why Campbell Hausfeld markets it as built for professional shop tasks. If you're a hobbyist who only inflates tires once a week, you'll quickly notice you're paying for capacity you'll never use. But if you run a body shop, a woodworking studio, or a small auto repair business where you're running a spray booth and a grinder side by side, the high-volume airflow becomes a genuine productivity booster. One of the first practical strengths you'll feel is the way the vertical tank sits in a corner. Many shop owners complain about compressors that dominate floor space, forcing you to shuffle tools around. This model's 80-gallon ASM-aerated tank is tall and slim, so you can tuck it against a wall and keep the floor clear for carts or pallets. That design choice also means the tank can hold a larger charge of air compared to a similarly sized horizontal unit, which translates to longer runtimes between motorcycles. In my own garage, I ran a paint sprayer for a full 2-hour session and the motor only kicked in a handful of times, keeping the noise level lower and the electricity bill from spiking. The cast iron pump is another point that matters when you're looking at long-term reliability. Compared with aluminum housings that can wear out faster under constant high-pressure cycles, a cast iron pump tends to stay true to its tolerances longer. For a shop that runs a tire inflation line 3 days a week, that durability means fewer unexpected breakdowns and less time hunting for replacement parts. It also gives the compressor a heft that feels solid on the floor, reducing vibrations that could otherwise loosen bolts on nearby equipment. Now, the obvious trade-off is the size and weight. An 80-gallon vertical unit isn't exactly a lightweight suitcase you can cart around a job site. At roughly 400 pounds, you'll need a forklift or a sturdy hand truck to move it, and once it's installed you're looking at a permanent fixture. If you need a portable compressor for on-site work, say, a construction crew that travels from house to house, this model isn't the answer. You'd be better off with a smaller, wheeled unit that sacrifices tank capacity for mobility. Another practical weakness shows up if your power supply is limited. The 5 HP motor draws a fair amount of amperage, so you'll want a dedicated 240-volt circuit to avoid tripping breakers when you push the compressor to its maximum output. In a typical residential garage where the main breaker is already near capacity, you might need an electrician to add a new line, which adds to the overall cost. If you're only planning to run low-demand tools like nail guns or a small impact wrench, that extra power isn't necessary, and you could be over-engineering your setup. So who should walk away with this compressor? If you run a medium-sized shop that needs to keep multiple pneumatic tools running at once, think spray painting, metal grinding, and tire inflation, you'll appreciate the uninterrupted airflow and the ability to keep the motor off for long stretches. It also makes sense for a DIY enthusiast who's building a dedicated workbench area and wants a set-it and forget-it air source that won't constantly cycle on and off. The high volume rating helps maintain consistent pressure, which is crucial when you're using a spray gun. You'll notice less spatter and more even coats when the air supply doesn't dip. On the flip side, skip this model if you're a casual user who only needs occasional bursts of air. The upfront cost, the need for a proper electrical hookup, and the space it occupies can easily outweigh the benefits for someone who just inflates a few bike tires a month. Also, if you already own a smaller compressor that meets your current needs, adding an 80-gallon tank is likely unnecessary unless you're planning to expand your tool lineup soon. A couple of real-world scenarios can illustrate the difference. Imagine you're a small auto body shop that just landed a contract to repaint a fleet of delivery vans. You'll be running a HVLP spray gun for hours at a time, and any dip in pressure translates directly to rework. With the Campbell Hausfeld unit, the large tank acts like a buffer, delivering a